In the heart of Texas, where life moves slowly and neighbors trust each other like family, secrets lurk beneath the surface. Here, crime isn't just a headline, it's an anomaly. But behind these picket fences and warm smiles lies a story that would shake the very foundation of law and loyalty. Here lives Officer Gabriel Martinez, a dedicated cop known for his unwavering commitment to justice. He wears his badge with honor, but beneath that badge lies a struggle that would shake the very foundation of his world. As a father, Gabriel has always wanted the best for his son, Davis, a bright young man with dreams and potential. But lately, Davis has become distant, choosing a path that leads further from the values his father instilled in him. In a community that prides itself on safety, a series of shocking burglaries rattles the peace, leaving residents on edge and law enforcement in pursuit. Little does Gabriel know that the face behind the mask of crime is one he has loved and nurtured his entire life. When the truth reveals itself in the most unexpected way, Gabriel is forced to confront the ultimate personal conflict, to protect his son or uphold the law he swore to serve. This is a story of heartache and hard choices where the line between duty and family blurs, leading to an unforgettable conclusion. Welcome to True Crime Excavate, your portal for gripping explorations into the world of real crime. Here, we dissect chilling cases, delve into unsolved mysteries, and recount tales of scandal and deception. From notorious cold cases to captivating courtroom battles and profiles of infamous criminals, True Crime Excavate offers a wide-ranging look at the darker side of humanity. Join us as we explore the gripping tale of Officer Gabriel and Davis, a story that challenges the bonds of love and the weight of responsibility. Officer Gabriel Martinez, a dedicated law enforcement officer with over 15 years of service, had always taken pride in serving and protecting his community. Known for his compassion and strong moral compass, Gabriel had a reputation for being fair yet firm. He approached every case with a sense of duty, understanding that the law was not just about rules, but about the lives that those rules affected. At home, Gabriel was not just a protector, he was a devoted father. His son, Davis, was once his greatest joy, a bright boy filled with dreams and laughter. But lately, Gabriel had sensed a shift. Davis, once passionate about architecture and art, had become withdrawn, spending time with a group of friends that made Gabriel uneasy. Despite his father's attempts to reach out, Davis resisted the support he so desperately needed. As troubling incidents began popping up in the neighborhood, burglaries that stole the sense of safety from families, Gabriel dove into his work with even more determination. Each call, each investigation ignited a fire within him. This was his duty, to protect those who could not protect themselves. But little did he know that the darkness was creeping closer to home. On a particularly tense evening, as Gabriel sat reviewing surveillance footage with his partner, Officer Tom, a face from the past emerged on the screen. Davis, in a hoodie, breaking into a neighbor's garage. Shock raced through Gabriel's veins. He rubbed his eyes, hoping it was a trick of the light, but there was no denying the truth. Heart pounding, Gabriel faced an unimaginable reality. His only son was implicated in a string of crimes that had devastated their community. Torn between the badge he wore and the love he felt for his son, Gabriel realized the path ahead was fraught with impossible choices. How could he bring the man he loved into custody, knowing full well it could change their lives forever? As grief and resolve mixed within him, Gabriel knew he had to act, not just as an officer, but as a father trying to save his son from a downward spiral that had veered dangerously off course. His world staggered on the edge as he prepared to confront the harsh reality of his fractured family. The journey ahead would test him in ways he never thought possible, forcing him to reconcile the law with his love. Davis's grades began to plummet, and the boy who loved to sketch architectural designs was now drawing plans of a different kind. Each day, his enthusiasm for learning faded, replaced by a growing disinterest and a desire to fit in with a group that thrived on rebellion and risk. His once vibrant sketches of grand buildings transformed into reckless pictures, mirroring the chaos in his life. As he wandered the school hallways, Davis became a ghost of his former self, avoiding his old friends and drawing away from the very people who cared about him. At home, his father Gabriel noticed the changing dynamic, but dismissed it as typical teenage angst. Gabriel's long hours at the precinct made it difficult for him to see the warning signs that were becoming clearer each day. He encouraged Davis to join after-school sports and clubs, believing that a little more structure would help re-engage him. "Try out for the soccer team, buddy," Gabriel suggested one night, hopeful. "It will do you good to be active, and you'll have fun with your friends." But Davis's passion lay dormant under layers of rebellion and a need for acceptance from the wrong crowd. He brushed off his father's suggestions, claiming he was busy or didn't care anymore. Little did Gabriel know these were the lies Davis told to shield his father from the truth that weighed heavily on him. The troubled friends he had chosen to associate with were leading him down a darker path, one filled with graffiti, petty theft, and a sense of belonging that had become addictive. As time went by, whispers circulated through the school, and troubling reports of vandalism and theft began to surface. Gabriel, still unaware of his son's involvement, felt the mounting pressure at work as the community he sought to protect now looked to him for answers. With every new incident, he found himself growing more anxious, yearning for the days when he could guide Davis toward a brighter future. On the surface, life appeared normal, yet beneath the concealment, darkness began to take hold of Davis. Secret meetings with his friends in abandoned lots turned into late-night escapades that fueled the urge for adrenaline, leading them further into the world of crime. The once dream-filled sketches of his future faded to black, and with each reckless choice, the chasm between father and son widened, setting the stage for a devastating revelation that would soon come crashing down on their lives. Concurrently, a string of burglaries plagued the neighborhood. Families felt their comfort vanish as they became victims of theft, their homes invaded and their peace shattered. The local news hounded the story, and the once safe streets were now filled with whispers of fear and uncertainty. Officer Gabriel Martinez, devoted to his community, worked tirelessly alongside his colleagues, including Officer Tom, to catch the culprits responsible for this escalating crime wave. Officer Tom: "These guys are good. They're always slipping through our fingers. You'd think after a few break-ins they would make mistakes, but it's like they know exactly how to cover their tracks." Every night, Gabriel brought the weight of the community's worries home with him. As he sat at the dining table, the looks on his wife Maria's face conveyed a silent understanding about their son's struggles, yet neither dared to speak the unsettling truth that loomed over them. Gabriel's heart ached with an unsettling mixture of professional duty and personal fear, knowing that every thief they were chasing could be someone he knew, perhaps even someone he loved. With each new burglary report that came in, his determination deepened. He wanted justice for his neighbors, and he needed to find answers. Yet, a nagging voice echoed in the back of his mind, whispering doubts about the safety of his own son, Davis. As the community clamored to feel secure again, the emotional toll on Gabriel grew heavy. Gabriel: "I assure you, we are doing everything in our power to catch whoever is responsible for these burglaries. We understand the fear this has caused, and we will not rest until our streets are safe again. While Gabriel worked tirelessly to bring calm to his community, Davis continued to slip deeper into the clutches of rebellion. In dark corners of the neighborhood, he and his friends plotted their next heist, thinking only of the thrill and the rush, not realizing the chaos they were leaving behind. Fueled by the excitement of their escapades, Davis felt a false sense of power. He ignored the warnings that echoed in Gabriel's teaching. Crime carries a heavy price. Night after night, Gabriel reviewed the surveillance tapes of the burglaries, piecing together timelines and trying to find the thread that would lead to the smart, elusive suspects. He could feel the pressure mounting as each new report added to the tension in the precinct. The days turned into sleepless nights. Then one fateful night, while reviewing footage, the unmistakable outline of a familiar figure jolted him from his thoughts.
Gabriel, breathless. No, it can't be Davis.
In that moment, Gabriel's world unraveled. Everything he held dear now stood in stark opposition. The evidence was clear, but the reality cut deeper than any suspect he had ever encountered. His son, once a beacon of promise, was now a main suspect in the very crimes he had dedicated his life to stopping. As he leaned closer to the monitor, an internal battle raged within him. How could he reconcile the love he felt for Davis with the duty to uphold the law? The images on the screen depicted a young man lost to darkness, embodying the very opposite of everything he had worked tirelessly to instill as a father. Davis had been slipping away, but Gabriel had thought it was a passing phase, typical teenage rebellion. He had hoped with all his heart that his son would find his way back. But here, captured in pixelated clarity, was the truth he feared most. Davis had made choices that would forever alter the course of their lives. Each frame in the footage felt like a dagger, revealing not just the crimes committed, but the distance that had grown between father and son. The laughter shared over meals, the quiet moments spent discussing dreams, all faded under the gravity of Davis's choices. Gabriel's face flushed with a mix of disbelief and anger. The conflict within him intensified as he knew his colleagues were relying on him to act. He envisioned the streets filled with fear, the families robbed of their security. How could he, as an officer, allow his son to walk free, knowing what he had done? His hands trembled as he replayed the footage again, struggling to accept the harsh reality blatant before him. It wasn't just a crime scene, it was a shattering of trust, a fracture that echoed within their family. He could already hear the whispers among his colleagues. What would they think? Would they see him as a father first, or a fellow officer? The longer he stared at the screen, the more the weight of his dilemma pressed down. He needed to confront Davis to get answers, to understand how it had come to this. But the thought of pulling the cuffs on his son was like a stab to his heart. The consequences loomed ominously in his mind: arrest, court, judgment.
Gabriel stepped away from the screen, struggling to catch his breath. He pressed his hands against the table, fighting back the wave of emotions threatening to overwhelm him. He wanted to protect his son, to understand what had led him down this treacherous path. But the reality remained. He had a duty to the community that relied on him for safety.
Caught in an insurmountable conflict of loyalty and law, he faced the hardest decision of his life. Would he protect the son he loved, or would he uphold the oath he had sworn as an officer of the law? The clock was ticking, and as adrenaline surged through Gabriel, he realized that time was running out. He had to confront the truth, not just for his son, but for the community that relied on him. What he would soon face would change everything. With a heavy heart, Gabriel made his way out of the precinct. The night air was cool against his skin, but warmth no longer resided in his heart. Every step he took echoed the turmoil within. He had crossed an unfathomable threshold, the line between duty and family now blurred beyond recognition. As he drove home, the weight of his impending confrontation loomed. He would have to face Davis to unveil the truth behind the growing chasm between them. The night's darkness matched the uncertainty weighing on his soul. Loved ones were often the hardest to confront, and he was about to face the most difficult question of all. How do you uphold the law when it means arresting your own son? As the weight of the revelation settled heavily on Gabriel's shoulders, the days turned into a blur of anguish and apprehension. Flashbacks haunted him, moments shared with his son and the laughter that once filled their home, now replaced by an unforgiving reality. He found himself pacing their living room, the shadows of doubt dancing in his mind.
Maria. Gabriel, he's our son. How could he do this? We raised him better than this. Gabriel. I know that, Maria, but I have to do my job. It's the law. I can't let my feelings cloud my duty. Maria's words echoed in his mind, each syllable cutting deeper than he expected. She was right. This was their son, the very creation of their love and hope. Yet, as an officer of the law, Gabriel felt bound by an oath that did not account for the tangled emotions that enveloped his heart. A parent's love weighed against his commitment to justice.
Days turned into sleepless nights as Gabriel wrestled with his emotions. Images of Davis breaking into homes plagued him, and the shame attached to it felt insurmountable. Each time he looked at his son's empty room, memories flooded back, the proud moments of his childhood, the dreams they once shared, and the boy who used to look up at him with admiration. But now he had to confront a new reality, a son whose actions jeopardized everything they held dear. Finally, the day came when Gabriel knew he had to act. The urgency of the situation was intense, and as uncomfortable as it felt, it was essential. He couldn't delay the confrontation any longer. It was time to face Davis and make the hardest decision of his life, an act that would change their lives forever. Gabriel pulled into the driveway, his heart heavy with dread. The weight of his badge felt different today. It was laced with a profound sadness. He was about to become the enforcer of the law against his own child. The familiar sound of laughter wafted from the backyard where Davis and his friends had gathered, blissfully unaware of the turmoil unfolding within their father. With a deep breath, Gabriel stepped inside and found Maria seated at the kitchen table, her expression solemn, knowing what was about to happen. He shared a brief, pained look with her before heading towards the back of the house. As he approached, the laughter faded into a distant echo. He found Davis sitting with a few friends, the atmosphere light and carefree. They were planning another night out, riding the high of youthful show, oblivious to the storms steeping just outside their circle. "Davis, can you come here for a moment?" Gabriel called. Davis's face transformed, confusion mingling with concern as he rose to meet his father. There was an innocence that lingered in his eyes, a flash of the bright boy Gabriel had once known. As Davis drew closer, Gabriel's heart ached. He fought to maintain his composure, knowing that every word was crucial. "I need to talk to you, alone." The request carried a weight that neither could ignore. With a nod, Davis stepped away from his friends, confusion deepening. They exchanged worried looks, but Gabriel focused solely on his son, steeling himself for what lay ahead. Inside the garage, the atmosphere felt heavy with unarticulated emotions, a crucible for confrontation. Davis sensed the gravity of the moment, the playful attitude replaced with uncertainty. "What's going on, Dad? You look serious."
Gabriel took a moment, searching for the right words, but the burden of his emotions threatened to choke him. He opened his mouth to speak, the words tumbling forward from a place of fear and love.
I saw the surveillance footage, Davis. I saw you breaking into those houses.
For a moment, silence engulfed them. The gravity of those words hung thick in the air, and a drop of understanding crossed Davis's face, a recognition that shattered the delicate optimism of their last shared moments.
I didn't mean for you to find out like this, Davis murmured. The disbelief in Gabriel's heart coiled tightly within him, but he knew that anger wouldn't help. He had hoped for this moment to be different, to be filled with an understanding that could bridge the chasm between them. But now, staring into his son's eyes, he saw a mixture of guilt and defiance, a boy standing on the precipice of adulthood, yet lost in darkness. You were always so driven, Davis. What happened? This isn't you. What led you to this? Davis's expression shifted, a storm of emotions swirling in his eyes, fear, shame, and anger. He struggled to articulate his thoughts, yet the words tumbled out, raw and unfiltered. I thought it'd be exciting. I thought it'd make me feel alive. I didn't think it would go this far. I just wanted to be accepted, to be part of something bigger than me. As Gabriel listened, each word twisted painfully in his heart. This was not about crime. It was a cry for help, a plea from a son who felt lost amidst the challenges of adolescence. Gabriel fought to keep his voice steady, even as emotion threatened to overwhelm him. You don't need to belong to a gang or engage in crime to feel accepted, son. You have a family that loves you. We can work through this together.
But Davis shook his head, tears brimming in his eyes, and for a moment, he was the little boy who once adored and idolized his father. The cover-up began to crumble, revealing the vulnerability he had kept hidden.
But you wouldn't understand, Dad. You can't protect me from everything. I wanted to make my own choices.
Gabriel felt the walls of duty and love clash, each emotion battling for dominance inside of him. He wished he could reach out and pull Davis back from this path, but the reality of their situation loomed too large.
Resting his hand on the workbench for stability, Gabriel took a deep breath, knowing it was time to confront the undeniable truth. Davis, the police are looking for you. I can't ignore what I have seen. I have a job to do, and that means that I have to arrest you.
Those words hung heavily in the air, a stark declaration that lay bare the conflict between Gabriel's role as a father and as an officer. Davis's face fell, the gravity of the situation sinking in, and a tremor ran through him. You won't actually do that, Dad, please. Gabriel felt the weight of his heart breaking as he fought against the tears threatening to fall. Here was his son, a young man shaking between childhood and adulthood, pleading for understanding while standing on the edge of consequences that could change everything.
I want to help you, Davis. The path you're on leads to destruction, but I cannot turn a blind eye to the law. I have to do this, and I can't shield you from the consequences of your choices. The mix of anger and despair on Davis's face was gut-wrenching, and in that moment, Gabriel felt more powerless than ever. This was more than an arrest. It was a fracture in their family that could take years to heal. Yet he also realized that this could be a pivotal moment for Davis, a chance to turn his life around if he chose to fight against the decisions that had brought him here. Dad, I'm sorry, I never wanted this. Gabriel stepped closer, trying to find a way to reach his son, to connect despite the overwhelming barriers. I know, and I'm sorry too, but this can't go unanswered. I can't be your father and your judge at the same time. It's time for you to face the consequences and find a way back to the light." With shaking hands, Gabriel reached for his handcuffs, feeling the undeniable weight of his decision. It was a monumental step, one that would irreversibly alter their relationship, and yet he hoped that the pain of the moment could lead to healing. "I love you, Davis. I will always love you, no matter what happens next."
In that heartbreaking instant, Gabriel felt the bond between them shift, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. He placed the handcuffs around Davis's wrists, his heart shattering as he witnessed the tears stream down his son's face.
"I'm so scared, Dad."
As he secured the handcuffs around Davis's wrists, a profound sense of sorrow enveloped them both. The reality of the moment crashed over Gabriel, and he fought back tears, knowing that what he was doing was meant to guide his son back to the right path, even if it felt like betrayal in this moment.
"I know you're scared, and you have every reason to be, but sometimes facing the truth is the first step toward healing." With Davis in handcuffs, the gravity of the situation weighed heavily on Gabriel's heart. He turned to his son, seeing the despair etched across his young face, a reflection of the fierce love he held for him. "We will get through this, Davis. I promise you, this isn't the end."
Davis's eyes were filled with tears, the fight seeming to drain out of him. In that moment, he appeared smaller, lost in the turmoil of his decisions. Gabriel felt the warmth of a familiar bond sparkle, but knew the journey ahead would be fraught with pain and struggle. "I just wanted to fit in, Dad. I didn't think it would lead to this." Gabriel sighed, his heart aching as he contemplated the choices that had led them to this moment. He wished he could turn back time to pull Davis away from the negative influences that had ensnared him. He knew the pull to conform could be strong, especially for a young man seeking belonging.
"I know fitting in feels important, but you have to be true to yourself, Davis. The people who truly care will accept you for who you are, not who you pretend to be." As they stood together in the dimly lit garage, Gabriel realized that the hardest part had only just begun. He had to take the next steps to ensure his son faced the consequences while also supporting him through this transformative experience. With a deep breath, he started to lead Davis outside, each step echoing with the magnitude of their situation. The laughter of Davis's friends faded into a distant memory, replaced by the somber reality of handcuffs and consequences. The impact of Davis's arrest on Gabriel's family was profound and multi-layered. For Gabriel, the heartbreak of arresting his own son shattered the ideal of fatherhood he had cherished. The emotional turmoil created a rift in their relationship, testing the bonds of love and loyalty as Gabriel struggled to reconcile his duties as an officer of the law with his role as a father. Maria also faced the emotional fallout, grappling with grief for the loss of the son she once knew and the fear of what the future held for their family. In the community, the revelations were equally significant. The news of police involvement with Davis left residents shocked and divided. Many felt betrayed and unsettled as the trust in their once thought-safe neighborhood was shaken. The community, which had appeared unblemished, now faced the harsh reality that crime could stem from unexpected places, igniting discussions about youth influences and the need for supportive environments. For Gabriel's career as a police officer, this incident posed severe challenges. His reputation came under scrutiny, with colleagues questioning whether personal ties would affect his professional judgment. Gabriel had to navigate the complexity of maintaining trust with his fellow officers while being perceived as both a father and a public servant. His decision to arrest Davis, while crucial for upholding the law, created tensions within the department. and led to evaluations of his judgment and emotional stability. Ultimately, the event illuminated the intricate interplay between duty and family, revealing how personal struggles can ripple through relationships, community trust, and professional integrity, forcing everyone involved to confront uncomfortable truths and seek healing in the aftermath of a heart-wrenching choice. This gripping story of Officer Gabriel and his son Davis highlights the complex struggles between duty and family, love and law. It's a powerful reminder of how even the strongest bonds can be tested by difficult choices. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this heart-wrenching situation? How do you believe families can navigate such challenges? Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share your insights in the comments below, as we value your perspective and experiences. And don't forget to check out our other videos for more intriguing stories that explore the depths of human emotion, family dynamics, and the complexities of life. Join the conversation and let's excavate more deeper mysteries together.